perception. Have you ever thought about the mental circumstances of your life, meaning the way you view your life, the way you view the world, is basically just the way you're perceiving it. There are a lot actually, external factors, but there's a lot of those external factors go through your filter, and that brings you to your conclusion or where you're at in the present. One of the best years of my life was 2020, when the beginning of the end of the world. I mean, at least again, 2020 basically was my favorite year on an external in an external way, meaning that I got to watch the world or perceive the world as falling apart in some sort of way. When the wheel stops, we go to work, we wake up at a certain time, we do a certain thing, we do our daily normal routine to help or bring us to a point economically. It's like what we do every day that gives our lives meaning. When that wheel stops, you get to kind of see what you're actually made of. When we're not playing the game of capitalism, what are you when you're not your job? Are you your job, or are you you? And then what is that exactly? 2020 brought out for me an entrepreneurial energy, basically meaning that I was on the wheel, but I never felt comfortable within the wheel anyways. So once the wheel stopped, and I got over the initial thinking that there was going to be zombies and that it was the actual end of the world, missiles were going to go off, I was going to see a mushroom cloud at the distance, and it was going to really be on. It might have been the end of normalcy, but I already personally didn't feel normal. So for me, it was a comforting place to be. And I hope that there's a lot of other people that found themselves during that time. Like when you don't have to go to work, who are you? What do you do? Do you sit down, eat, and saturate yourself in endorphins?
Can't handle any complexity in it, Don't make me think. I just want to be entertained.
Sex in the City? I mean, I don't know what a female player is. Sex in the City. What are you and what are you made of? Some of my other favorite things about 2020. We all thought the world was going to end. Everyone lost their jobs, most, in some capacity. Or there was a sharp change in the way that you participated in your job. We provided a social safety net as far as money goes, which is interesting. Which, as you did see, it almost gave people a incentive not to want to go back to work. So that's something that was already in there. A good thing about 2020, if you were aware, or if you were prior to 2020 someone who felt maybe like a participating outcast, it gave us a good chance to see a sample of the mental health of the country, which for me was confirming, because as you notice, 2020 is a lot quieter. Sorry, 2021 is a lot quieter than the year 2020. We don't have the same focus on particular racial issues, at least not at the moment. In fact, the Black Lives Matter thing that I wouldn't say emerged last year, but was definitely in your face last year, is more a gay movement now than anything. So that transferred. You also don't have Trump to look at. Like you're probably feeling most from last year like a shocked rat, like just a test subject that has been shocked with nothing but negativity for almost a year. Negativity and fear for a year straight, which is interesting. But it's also a good thing. You got to see a lot of people's actual opinions, malinformed opinions, in fact. That's very interesting. You got to see a lot of people lean into their own beliefs or just believe whatever they wanted to, but that's not a bad thing. For the people who are maybe awake as opposed to woke, because that's, once again, another word that's been changed into something you probably don't want to be, but did want to be at one point in time. But for those who are awake and just kind of watching as spectators more than participating or having a true opinion, or having a opinion that they put outwardly, either social media or some other cornering encounter with whoever will listen, you got a chance to see that if people want to believe in Santa Claus, they will believe in Santa Claus. Or even if they're provided the information to to know and understand that Santa Claus isn't real. Some will still choose to believe in Santa Claus, and that's kind of what you got to see last year. A lot of distractions. I live in Minneapolis, so I was at ground zero for a lot of the racial issues of last year, which I think helped maybe even change who the president was in some instances. Meaning, if you're black, you're blue, even if it's not true. So you get kind of you get you get a swing of votes and things. All last year seemed like we got the chance to participate on a reality TV show. You know, we were all tuned into the same thing at the same time, meaning all eyes were in one thing, which makes you kind of wonder what was happening in the background if we're all looking at the same shit. But you got a chance to hopefully digest the society in which you live, which will help you to understand that we got a social safety net, but I'd imagine that our real social safety net should have been a focus on mental health.
What the hell are you doing? I'm kicking my ass! Do you mind?
Our mental health issues were exacerbated, possibly on purpose, just the way it looked. You know, you got a chance to use fear to drive up the sales of shit you didn't need, like toilet paper and other stocked up items that you don't really need during a crisis. But it's where we went, you know. In fact, I found it pretty lucrative having a skill or trade during a time that everyone's doing home improvements and at home. Last year was awesome for me. It gave me a chance to be self-employed. And some of you may have also seen that as well, or took a self-employment route knowing that the wheels could fall off and you are who you want to depend on, as opposed to a structure that is built and maintained and may not exactly be reality. You're just participating in something that continues to move. But when it stops, who are you and what do you have? Just my thoughts for the day. Have a good afternoon, evening, month, morning.